Remember a couple days ago when I said it was a safe space, it was only us, and we talked about some things we were thinking about in terms of the offense and what it could look like. So I'm calling for another safe space. I'm calling for just us, right? No judgment zone, because I looked something up a couple days ago because I just was curious. Now, Hugh, I know you weren't here at the time, but I'm sure you remember this. The last year that Chip Kelly was here, Chip Kelly signed DeMarco Murray away from the Dallas Cowboys, right? Brought him in. It was a disaster. It didn't work. And anytime you bring up DeMarco Murray, it's like, oh, my God, that was the worst season ever. He was terrible, blah, blah, blah. And he was. So I just was curious, that DeMarco Murray season 10 years ago, how does that compare to the Saquon year in terms of numbers that we're seeing right now? You ready for these numbers?
What you got?
10 years.
I'm not.
Okay, well, I called for a safe space, so let me speak. I called for a safe space. Okay, I'm sorry. 2015 DeMarco Murray, 193 rushes for 702 yards, 3.6 yards per carry. 2025 Saquon Barkley, 185 rushes for 684 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. The numbers right now, Saquon now, DeMarco then, are almost identical. It's like the same season. Hugh, what are you seeing? Because I've started to see some people who look at tape that say, yeah, the offensive line's a problem, but Saquon also is not running the same, and maybe he's trying for the home run and giving up chances for 4 or 5 because he's trying to get 60.
Again, I'm going to say when we talk about the woes of this offense, it's not on one person. It's not, because you have to look at it as a collective. Offensive line play has been domesticated, decimated. Yeah, the offensive line.
Maybe they have. Maybe that's
they
the
have
problem.
been domesticated. Yeah. They've been decimated.
Always comes back to that with you.
Yeah, it's it's partly that. It's partly the passing game is not as potent as it once was, and it's the way that teams are playing us. We played the last couple games, like I remember we played Denver. Denver hung around until they had an opportunity to win late in the game.
Yeah.
Because and I remember we were talking to, who was it last week, and somebody said it's the equivalent of playing with your food, and that's what they thought the Eagles were. I don't think that's the case. I think that there are some concepts that they try to run to keep drives alive. They're just not working for whatever reason. See, that's where it gets a little muddy because I don't know. I'm not out there on the field, and I don't know what the quarterback sees as opposed to what's really happening. And, a lot of times when you're watching film, you can freeze the tape. Anybody can freeze the tape and say, hey, look, so-and-so open. That might not necessarily be true. We were talking about a play the other day where in the running game, it looked like Saquon Barkley had a gap to run through. And, it all depends on who you talk to. Some people say he should have made that cut.
Right.
Some people say the hole was going to close up quickly. So it's one of those things where, on the offensive side of the ball, I don't know how the person pulling the trigger or the offensive coordinator perceives what they see.
So Acho thinks that Saquon deserves some blame. Seth Joyner, strong response here, does not buy that.
Nickel. Yeah, we need to play Tank Bigsby. He's averaging 9 yards, per run. Yeah. Man, stop that. Wow. Stop that. Tank Bigsby is a good change of pace, but he is not Saquon Barkley.
Well, why is it every time he gets in there, he gets the 8 or 9?
It does feel like that's the easy way to say, hey, look, here's the problem. The problem
saying more
with
than
the
one run
is
that what we're saying?
Even the clowns over on social media are saying the same thing. I'm watching Emmanuel Acho yesterday, him and Shady in their podcast, and he's talking about, nobody's talking about Saquon's not what he was. Man, shut the hell up. Because you know what? You don't know anything. If you're a football guru and you're watching football with your eyes, especially as a defensive player, and you're looking at how pathetic this offensive line is playing right now, there's not a thing in your mind that says that you believe that Saquon Barkley is not what he was, okay? That's just nonsensical. The offensive line is the issue.
So I think, first of all, it's fun to hear those two go back. Well, here's Seth talking about Emmanuel Acho. I agree with the overall point, Hugh, that the offensive line is the biggest issue to why the run game has stunk. But I don't know, man. Sometimes I know no one thinks Tank Bigsby's as good as Saquon Barkley, right? He'll never be. Mm-hmm. But it is stark that he comes in and it's 8 yards, it's 9 yards, and then Saquon runs and it's 1 or 2.
You can't deny that.
I can't ignore that when we talk about Saquon.
The unfortunate thing about everything that we're talking about is that because the unfortunate thing is that it's not one thing, but we all want to make it one thing. It's not that. I mean, it's not. It's just not. It's the offensive line. It's a little bit of Kevin Patullo. It's a little bit of the quarterback. It's a little bit of the running game. It's not in sync like it was last year, and that's okay.
Do you think Saquon looks the same?
That's a tough one, Joe, because when I see him, I still see the speed. I just don't see I don't want to say confidence, the decisiveness in the whole running.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times, like it was pointed out, was it the Dallas game where it was a couple times, or no, I think it was the game before that, where they talked about how
the Lions game?
Yeah, where one person tackled him. I remember, and just to give you a comparison, Brian Westbrook. When Brian was in his heyday, the first person wasn't going to tackle you.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cardinal sin for a running back to be tackled by the first person. Like you go back to that was in high school. The first person is not, if you're a good running back, is not supposed to be able to tackle you. Saquon's been getting tackled a lot like that, and that never happened last year. So if you say that to me is more desire than actual talent. Mindset's different. It's hard. Think about it like this, people. Saquon Barkley went from playing for a bad team, getting cut on national TV, getting talked to greasy by a dude, telling me, hey, well, if you get another job, let me know. What I'm letting you know for. And he came here and he had something to prove. It's the same thing. Like, you come, some places you come and you have a chip on your shoulder and you play above your station. Not saying that Saquon did that because he was a number 1 draft pick. So, there's that. But
the eye of the
he's
tiger.
not running. Yeah, he's not running. It's safe to say he's not running like he ran last year. I mean, the stats show you that.
Boy, he's not.
Now, whether or not he's lost a step, I can't say. He doesn't look like it.
Elliot brought up an interesting point because, we all saw the Giants game where he had his one big game this year, right, in middle October. And I think it was the reflex was, see, he still got it.
Yeah.
But there are times in sports where players who don't have it can do it for a game. Saquon did it for 20 games last year, right? That's why he had one of the great seasons of all time. He did it over and over and over and again. So, he could do it for a game, but can he do it for 10? Can he do it for 5?
Yeah, the sustainability.
Yeah, so I think we may have gotten fooled by that Giants game that Saquon was fine. Something's wrong. Something's not the same compared to what it was last year. The O-line is the biggest problem, but I was holding out hope he was the same. It doesn't feel like that anymore. 215-592-9494. And I'm with Joe. I'm with Rhea in that clip we played. I want to see more Tank on Friday. I don't know if that's 5 carries, if it's 6, if it's 4. I want it to be more than 1, though. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they do a thing last year where once in a while it would be the Kenny Gainwell drive? Remember that last season? Like Saquon would run 20 times.
Yeah, and it was annoying.
But would you mind it Friday if they did it for Tank?
Oh, not at all.
Give me a Tank drive. Yeah. Ride the Tank down the field and see if they can put it in the end zone.
Ride the Tank down
Ride the Tank down the field.
Well, I will say this. I would have rode him until he told me no. Thanks, Kyle.
I heard that one in a while.
I will say this. It's not – you need a spark.
Yeah.
And it's not – if you're really about winning games or whatever, I don't think Saquon will have a problem with Tank getting a couple carries.
That's what I mean. Again,
yeah,
it's not so much –
it could be more of a complimentary thing.
Sure.
You're going to still get yours, but you got to let Tank – you got to let him run, man. See, this offense needs a spark somewhere, and he might be that spark.
Yeah, look, they're struggling to move the football. What if he bursts a 30-yarder? That could change the entire game, especially with all these games being close. Let's go to the phone lines here. Matt in German.